Welcome back, everybody. Ready to take another deep dive?
Always ready.
All right. Today's a little different. We're focusing on one single YouTube video.
Oh, interesting. Just one. Okay.
Yeah, but it's packed with enough stuff to keep us going. And it all started with a question about a YouTuber named Joey Kelly.
Joey Kelly. All right.
Yeah, you heard of him?
Can't say I have.
Yeah.
Is he one of the big names these days?
Well, not exactly. He's got one subscriber.
Wow, one subscriber.
Yeah, and 11 videos total.
Okay, so very indie.
Definitely indie.
Yeah.
But he did voice a character in that video game, Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that game.
Yeah, he was one of the clan Kelly thugs. But the real mystery is his accent.
His accent, huh?
Yeah, one of our listeners sent us a question about it. They're trying to figure out, is it London? Australian? Irish? It's got elements of all three, right?
Yeah, it's like a mixed bag.
What do you think? Before we get too far into this, let's just play a little clip of him talking. This is from his channel, Joey Kelly.
Okay. Let's hear it.
All right, here we go.
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. I can see why your listener is stumped.
Right. So let's break it down. London accent first. What are some of the key characteristics we might hear?
Well, with a London accent, you'd typically expect that, that kind of classic Cockney sound, dropping the H at the beginnings of words, like ouse instead of house, and that sort of thing.
Right, and maybe some rhyming slang thrown in there?
Exactly. But I'm not really hearing a strong Cockney influence in Joey Kelly. I mean, he could be from a different part of London.
True, London accents are super diverse. What about Australian?
Australian accents are known for, like, that broad, open vowel sound, almost like they're singing.
Right, and they shorten words, like brekkie for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they tend to use a lot of slang that might sound, unfamiliar to someone who isn't from Australia.
Yeah, true. But I'm not getting a strong Aussie vibe from Joey Kelly either. What about Irish then?
Well, Irish accents can be pretty varied, too, depending on which part of Ireland you're talking about. But generally, you'd expect a bit more of a lilt to the speech.
It's old.
Yeah, like a musicality to it, up and down in pitch. And they often pronounce words differently, like grand instead of great.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So after hearing that clip, where are we leaning? I feel like maybe there's a touch of Irish in there.
Yeah, maybe a hint of Irish. But honestly, it could be a blend of all three. Plus, who knows? Maybe he's lived in different places, picked up bits of different accents along the way.
That's what I was thinking. Like our own accents, they're kind of like living things, always evolving.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, the accent mystery will probably remain a mystery, but let's move on to the content of this video.
Okay, what's he talking about?
So he's reacting to two different videos, both of women snoring.
Snoring. Okay.
Yeah, and this is where things get, well, interesting.
Oh, how so?
He starts with this little girl. She looks maybe 5 or 6, and he makes a comment about her frothing at the mouth while she's asleep.
Frothing, like actual foam.
Yeah, he's exaggerating, but he's basically saying that she's drooling a lot. And he's like, is she all right? Maybe she's sick.
Well, excessive drooling can sometimes be a sign of something medical, right? Like it can be a symptom of sleep apnea or maybe even some neurological conditions. But of course, we're not doctors, just to be clear.
Of course, yeah. We're not diagnosing anyone here.
Right. But it's interesting that his first reaction is to kind of jump to a health concern.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about our own biases. Like, would he have reacted the same way if it was a little boy?
That's a good point. I mean, I don't know.
And then he moves on to the second video. This one is of a woman who he describes as Korean.
Okay. And how does he react to her?
Well, her snoring is louder. She's got her mouth wide open. And he starts making jokes about insects flying into her mouth.
Oh, wow. That's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely gets uncomfortable. He even makes some comments about her family, like they must be used to this.
It feels like he's crossing a line there. Like, why is he bringing her family into it? And why is snoring seen as something to be ashamed of?
Right, it's a natural bodily function.
Exactly. Like, I snore sometimes, you probably snore sometimes. It's normal.
It is, but there's definitely this weird stigma around it, especially, I feel like, for women.
Yeah, there's almost this expectation that women should sleep gracefully and silently, like they're in a fairy tale or something.
Yeah, like Sleeping Beauty.
But the thing is, snoring can sometimes be a sign of a more serious issue, like that sleep apnea we were talking about earlier.
Right, which brings us to a really interesting turn in this video. Joey suddenly switches gears. He gets serious.
Oh. What does he say?
He starts talking about the health risks linked to snoring. He even gives advice on how to prevent it.
Hold on, so he goes from making these kind of offensive jokes to offering health advice.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild shift in tone.
Huh, interesting.
It's like he realizes he was heading down the wrong path.
Maybe. But what do you make of that sudden shift to serious mode?
It makes me wonder about his intentions, you know? As a content creator, is he just trying to entertain, or is there a deeper message here?
Yeah, good questions. Like, is he trying to educate his one subscriber while also getting a laugh?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And the advice he gives is actually pretty accurate. He talks about sleeping on your side.
Which is often recommended to help with snoring, because when you sleep on your back, your tongue can kind of fall back and block your airway.
Yeah, that makes sense. And he mentioned sleep apnea specifically, saying it's something to be taken seriously.
Which is absolutely true. Sleep apnea isn't just about snoring, it's about those pauses in breathing during sleep.
Right. So just to back up for a second, for anyone listening who's not familiar with sleep apnea, what exactly are the risks?
Well, sleep apnea can increase the risk of a lot of serious health problems, like we're talking about high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke,
Wow.
even diabetes. It can also lead to daytime sleepiness, which can make things like driving dangerous.
So if someone thinks they might have sleep apnea, what should they do?
Talk to a doctor. They might recommend a sleep study where they monitor your breathing and brain activity while you sleep.
Okay, good to know. So we started with a question about Joey Kelly's accent,
That's right, the mystery of his origins.
and we ended up talking about snoring, cultural perceptions, and even sleep apnea.
Quite a journey.
It really is. And it makes you think, right, about how even a single YouTube video can open up all these different conversations.
Totally agree. It's all connected, in a way.
Exactly. So here's a final thought for everyone out there. Given Joey Kelly's shifts from those initial reactions to a more informative tone, what does it say about him as a content creator? Is he just trying to entertain, or is there something more to it?
Something to ponder, for sure.
Yeah. And hey, maybe while you're pondering that, you can try sleeping on your side tonight. Just for fun, of course.
Always good advice.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
See you next time.